drooling?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
back to episode 4. Or welcome to episode 4. Welcome back to the show. Welcome.
Welcome.
So, what was the name of this episode?
Teacher's Pet.
That's right. That's a good name. So, episode 4 is another Monster of the Week type story, and it's fairly Xander focused, mostly because he's the main victim, whatever.
Yeah.
Would you care to lead us into the episode?
Sure. We are in science class with everyone, and their teacher, they're learning about bugs. And Buffy had done her homework.
Ants specifically. Ants are not bugs, but I digress.
Yeah. Buffy hadn't done her homework, and the teacher calls on her to, answer some questions, and Willow tries to, coach her through with kind of like a charade type thing, and it almost works, but doesn't really. He has to see her after class, and that's when we find out that he actually, thinks that she's probably pretty smart, and she needs to apply herself, and he's not going to take, her not doing well in class for him or whatever. So, we start to feel for this teacher. We start to kind of like this teacher because he likes and he believes in Buffy. So that's kind of where the episode starts. And I'll be honest, this isn't one of my favorite episodes, especially in the first season. He's looking up bugs versus insects.
Well,
and then
bugs are insects, but there's a very specific subsection of insects that are bugs. Not all insects are bugs. And I wanted to make sure I was right before I got on my soapbox.
And Zelda just wanted to make a cameo, apparently, so she says, "Hello, everybody. And now I'm going to put you down. You're going to run off, okay? Love you. I know. Let go. Go on." Oh, it did start out with a dream by Xander. He's sleeping in class.
Yeah.
And that was...
When I first saw it, it was one of those oh god, here we go. But they go back and they reuse it multiple times in the episode, so it actually has a purpose for existing. It's not just, yep, Xander's a fucking weird high school boy. This is what he dreams about. They actually use it for a purpose, but yeah, sorry, go ahead. You were going to describe.
No, that's fine. No, I was, he's actually the one that saves Buffy, and then he, plays a guitar solo, and she's in love with him, and she wakes him up and says that he's drooling, and...
Oh, you missed the best part, though. Well, not the best part, but...
Oh, when he gets the thing and then,
snaps off the chair leg and then goes back to his sweet guitar licks. Oh, my God. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
So we know Xander likes Buffy, and...
I just love it, you drooling.
Yeah. So that's where we are... At the beginning of the episode, we're in class with them and everything.
They wake up in class, she talks to him and all that, and then class dismisses, she gets held back and talks to the teacher.
Yeah,
that's when we find out that he's hey, let's prove him wrong about your permanent, or let's make him eat your permanent record or whatever.
And I feel like if he were my teacher, I would totally like that. I would like him as a teacher, I feel.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. While we were sitting and watching it, my first thought was, maybe you should emote a little bit more. People might like you more, but that kind of person probably wouldn't give two shits about how many people like him or not.
I felt he emoted just fine. I thought he was kind of dry and not sarcastic, but
very deadpan.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I meant. Was it's hard to get a read on him until the very end of the conversation when he smiles for half a second.
Yeah, that's true.
But either way, immaterial.
So then they go to the bronze, right?
Well, no. Before that, that's when we see him going through the slides and the projector.
Oh, that's right.
And then we see the hand thing come and grab him and pull him back off of his chair and drag him out of the frame or whatever. And his glasses fall and break, but look like they were already broken before they fell. It's weird.
So then they go to the bronze, and there's a scene where all these high school boys are like sitting and talking about their conquests and like how many girls they've been with and all of that fun stuff. And they asked Xander, and Xander succumbs to the pressure, and he was like, "Oh, are you talking about today or like
or this week
or just this week or whatever?" And then they kind of laugh him off, but then to kind of prove his point that he is a ladies' man, he sees Buffy and Willow and like goes over and like sticks his arms around his like ladies, and Buffy is just like, what? And Willow's like, we'll show him. Like Willow's just so willing to support him in whatever he needs at that moment, and I just thought that was funny. She's always willing to help. And then Angel comes back in this episode.
Yes, he does, in typical Angel fashion.
And
he gives almost literally zero help, and is all like, I know things, but I'm not going to tell you. Also, here's my jacket.
Yeah.
And he says, you're cold or whatever, and I can't remember her comment to that. And he's like, look cold.
She said, you can take it, because she was like saying basically what you were saying, like, you know, here's another cryptic message or like whatever.
Because that's his style. But yeah, and then he says, no, you literally look cold or whatever, and he takes off his leather jacket and is wearing just like, it'd be like if I just sat here and just like, oh, you look cold, let me take my shirt off. And he just has a friggin' undershirt on underneath it. Like,
yeah, he goes, put a shirt on.
Yeah, wear a shirt, you jackass.
I thought it was really funny because, like, Xander's probably thinking the same thing. Because Xander's watching their interaction, and he was like, well, he's buff, he's a good-looking guy. She never said he was buff, and you can just, like, hear the jealousy in his voice, and then this guy over here comes in, like, put a shirt on.
My point is, who wears just an undershirt with a leather jacket? That is the definition of mismatched.
It was the 90s, and guys wore wife beaters alone all the time because it was cool.
I guess. It's so dumb.
I remember being in middle school, and like all the guys would just wear like, not to school because that wasn't allowed, but they would just, on the weekends and like when we go hang out or whatever, go to the park, skating or whatever, they'd just be wearing wife beaters.
I'm typically not for
I probably
dress
shouldn't
codes
call
in
it
general.
wife beater.
Well, yeah, that's probably not.
Sorry for if that was
tank top.
Bad, but y'all know the style of shirt I'm talking about.
Tank
That's
top.
what they were called in my time.
Well, that's what some people call them, yeah, but tank tops.
Yes.
Or A-frame tops or whatever. I've heard
so
things.
Sorry for calling it what I just called it.
But so what I was gonna say, I'm usually not a supporter of like the dumb dress code rules in schools because they're just arbitrary and they're more often than not extremely sexist. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't walk around just wearing underclothes all the time, like as normal clothes. They're not normal clothes. They're underclothes. What are you doing? Put a fucking shirt on. Anywho, end of rant.
I wrote the exact words that you said, and it was, really, dude, put on a fucking shirt. That's what he literally said out loud.
I don't exactly hide how I feel about things.
No, you don't, and that's good.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
So, okay, but then immediately after that, it cuts to them, Giles and Buffy walking into the high school.
Yeah.
And she's telling him about
like
Fort Guy.
And Cryptic Guy.
Yeah, because what did she say? Like, some guy some vampire had his hand cut off or whatever and attached something to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess he had like scratches on his neck or something when she talked to him. But so she calls him Fort Guy.
Yeah.
So.
And then she said Cryptic Guy, and Giles says, I think you have too many guys in your life, and that just made me laugh out loud. And then I was like, but that's true. Like, at least amongst my friends and stuff, when anybody's dating somebody new, like, until it becomes like a full-on thing, we just call them like something guy. Like this Addison, when we first started seeing each other, my friend called him DJ guy, or I think they also called you AV guy or New Year's guy because of how we met. And
two of those are accurate. I couldn't DJ to save my life.
Yeah, but you were working like with the DJ, so that's why that happened. And then I've had friends, I've had friends that date chicken guys. Guy has some chickens or something like that. So
It's normal.
I mean, until it becomes a real thing, like
they don't have a name.
No names are attached.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't know name for a year. She was
Drunky Face. Yeah,
it's a whole story. You'll hear it eventually.
It's just funny because girls do that, guys. Just in case you're wondering,
they be doing that.
We be doing that. I forget what the science teacher's name was, but anyway, he's not there. Miss Natalie French is there, their substitute, and she picks up where he leaves off. And they're studying bugs, so she starts talking about praying mantis and how it's just an amazing creature.
Which are not bugs.
And all of this other fun stuff. And then she calls them cannibals. And he didn't think that they were actually cannibals.
Well, so she said they remove the head.
And then I was like...
Do they eat it?
Well, I looked it up.
Okay.
I looked it up, and I found an article from The Guardian.
Yeah.
And it says that a lot of them are sexual cannibals. Well, it says up to 28% of... up to 28% will eat their partner. Oh. And of those... And the 28% that eat them, they are able to be more prolific than the ones
who are cannibalistic?
Yeah, than the ones that don't eat their partner.
I guess that makes sense. They have a lot more availability of proteins and and all that.
And
kind of stuff,
I think that's what it was. Yeah, that's
okay.
basically what it said. So yeah, I looked it up because I wanted to know and everything if it was.
I knew they killed the.
Yeah, I knew that they bit off their head.
But I didn't think they actually ate them. So you're like almost or close to a third, a little over a quarter, actually do cannibalize them.
According to this article that I read.
I mean, the Guardian's pretty trustworthy. No, you learn something new every day.
So and so then they're like at lunch because it's lunchtime, and Miss French had asked for volunteers to help build egg sacs for the science fair, and of course all the boys volunteered because she's
paper mache egg sacs.
A beautiful teacher, and
it's the easiest project ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Paper mache egg sacs. So just get some newspaper wet and slap it together in a ball-shaped thing.
And for the science fair, I don't know if any of y'all did science fair. I did science fair when I was in middle school, and I actually got to I think I got to regionals. Maybe I went to state. I think we did. I did end up going to state. My project did. I don't remember for sure because that was a long time ago. But it was not just like building something. It was like coming up with a problem and finding like an answer to that problem, or like coming up with a theory or a hypothesis.
Well, you had to have like every step of the scientific process.
That's what science fair was.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't just like making a volcano or making a paper mache egg sac.
I'd be willing to bet that when most of the people who created and worked on the show were in school, they probably didn't have that thorough of a science fair.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know how old Joss Whedon is, but
I can look it up if you want.
I'm gonna guess 50-something. So that means he was born in the 60s.
So he's probably in his 30s when he was writing Buffy.
Yeah, okay.
I would think. Yeah, because it's over 20 years old.
Yeah. So, either way, I don't think science fairs were quite as rigorous as they are nowadays.
He's 56.
He's 56.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he was born in 64. Probably.
Ooh, Sarah Michelle Gellar's 43.
Oh, well, there you go.
So yeah.
Anywho,
so they go and they're at lunch. Xander's excited because he gets to meet with Miss French the next day, and then this dude Blaine, who was one of the guys razzing Xander in the bronze about like getting laid and stuff, he like apparently was meeting her that night and definitely like kind of poked at Xander about it and everything. And then Cordelia comes in and finds his body. When Cordelia comes in and she just like bumps into Buffy and like brushes past her, you were like, you said something, or you were like, "Good God," or whatever. Like,
because she's just the worst. It's just nonstop with her. Like, I get that some people are more bullies or whatever like that, but like, has there been a scene with her yet where she is not being objectively horrible to somebody other than her friends? But even then, she talks over her friends and treats them like idiots.
She was nice to Buffy when Buffy first came.
Okay, that's true. When she thought that there was a potential
her
friend for her to recruit into her group to talk down to. Yes. Oh, God, she's just the worst.
But yeah, so she finds his body, right?
She was surprisingly absent in this episode.
Yeah. She was just, I think the only thing is that she found his body. I think that was it.
Yeah. Like, this episode felt kind of weird.
It was weird.
Like,
yeah, like I said, it's not one of my favorites. It's just a little off to me.
It was very Xander focused, but not necessarily for any specific purpose other than he ends up being one of her potential victims. And Angel's there, but like his part in it doesn't really end up amounting to much because like it's just
he just tells her about
there's Fort Guy. But Fort Guy doesn't. I mean, he's there for a specific purpose, but it's so throwaway.
Yeah.
Like, he's there literally just to demonstrate that vampires are afraid of this thing.
Yeah.
So that they don't think she's a vampire or whatever.
Yes.
And Cordelia's pretty absent in it. Like, I don't know. It was a weird one. But, yeah, it was fun. It was good. Oh, yeah, okay. So then they make it after school, after class. That's when they finally make it out to the park.
Yeah. And
she's going after him.
I think at this point, she might be kind of assuming that Fort Guy is responsible for
people going missing.
The teacher's death.
Oh.
Her teacher's death.
That's right.
And she's ready to go out and find him because she wants, this teacher, she liked this teacher.
Because they had found the body at that point and he's missing his head.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it stands to reason. Head got
but Giles asks her not to do anything rash or like go hunting tonight. He's like, this is not the time to go hunting. We, need more information. And then Buffy's like, promise me. She's like, okay, I won't go. And then it shows her like at the park, and I wrote down, Buffy, do what she want.
I wrote down, that homeless dude in the park was unexpectedly polite and sneaky.
And drunk.
Well, yeah.
I feel
dude
like
comes
drunk.
like morphing in out of the like shrubs or whatever, like, hey, it's not safe out here for you, or something like that. And then just like shambles off into the fucking night. Like,
yeah.
You're right. But also confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, I think. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. And then that's when... So she finds the guy. They fight a little bit. He gets away from her and is running. Or he's going to try and attack Miss French, it looks like. And then that's when we see she turns and looks at him. And he, like, hisses like a cat and, like, recoils and, like, runs away. And Buffy sees all this.
And, like, pulls up the manhole and like it's so that scene is kind of weird, that little like mini scene where because you get to see him like bend over, grab the manhole, like pull it off, move it to the side, and then climb down. It's just like, did we need to see this whole process? It's weird. Just I don't know, it felt like it was just a little bit too long. I don't know, just I noticed weird things.
And then you were talking about like sound effects with
so the fight scene with Fork Guy and Buffy, every one of her, it's like she throws a kick, like they're all the exact same sound, and he like swipes his little fork hand at her and it's or whatever, like what is that, what is her, like those blades making noise on? Air is not hard. It's so dumb. But it's,
when sharp things like go, like they make sound.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
They do in the movies.
Well, yes, that is true. But it's always silly. And, like what? Just imagine how ridiculous it would be if you're just sitting there, like, chopping up a pepper or whatever for dinner and just, like, it's nonsense.
Well, when I chop a pepper, it makes a sound.
Well, the pepper makes a sound, but like when it's in the air, it's not.
No.
It doesn't sound like a goddamn kung fu movie.
I'm not bringing it through the air.
It's
not like
someone
Yan
back
Can
doing karate.
Oh my god.
Anywho, I'm very picky about dumb things that most people don't care about, but whatever. That's who I am. So okay, commercial break. We come back, and then we run into the principal after now it's apparently news is spread across the school that a dead body of a teacher has been found who was previously missing, but now they found his corpse in a locker in the room. I don't remember exactly everything he says, but he's talking about how we can't talk about it, or we're not allowed to, like, tell everybody, and, like, this and that.
You saw the body. I remember that part.
Yeah. And, like, we can't process this, because if we do, then, like, things start happening, and then powerful laxatives are involved. I'm like, hold the fuck up. What does your grieving process look like that powerful laxatives are involved?
Maybe the stress gives him upset tummy.
I guess, but what stage of grieving is that?
I don't know. Like, some people
anger,
have, like,
grief, bargaining, diarrhea.
Some people have, laxative
acceptance
would be for constipation, not diarrhea.
Well, okay, that's true.
But, like, there are some people that have ulcers or GI issues that stress contributes to making worse.
Which I could believe that for him.
Seeing something like that or having to deal with something like that can definitely up your stress level and therefore cause more problems.
Intestinal distress.
Yes. Yes.
Either way, powerful laxatives is... What the fuck is happening, man?
So she's seen Miss French is, like, weird. Their teacher's dead.
I think they put together, Blaine was...
Oh,
Blaine
that's
went
right.
missing.
And he met with her the night before, and he didn't come to school today.
Right.
And didn't come home that previous night.
Yeah. Is Xander there for that conversation?
No.
Okay, that's right. Because he's meeting up with her after class.
And she makes a sandwich with crickets on it.
Well, that's afterwards.
After class.
Well, after he talks to her.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, she was getting ready to make her sandwich, and then he comes in.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's true.
But she made a sandwich with crickets on it. It's gross.
Well, she's a mantis.
Well,
I don't know if mantis eat crickets. I think they eat mammals for the most part.
Praying mantis? I'm gonna find out what
I think they eat small mammals, or at least sometimes.
Like what small? Like how small mammals?
I mean, like small rodents or birds. Mantises are fucking metal ass insects.
Oh dang! They do catch and eat birds.
Yeah, they're fucking metal.
But they also eat other insects.
Okay, that's believable. I just know I've seen lots of videos of a mantis, like, catching a bird in fucking midair and, like, just munching down on it. Like, oh, God.
Oh, no. There's...
Oh, no. What's going on?
I think that it's going to catch a hummingbird. I don't want to watch it.
Oh, well, then don't watch it.
I'm not.
It probably does. Hummingbirds are tiny. Mantises are not small. They can be, like, this fucking big.
I know they're gross.
They're not gross. They're awesome.
As Buffy says, they are
said
bug
the guy
ugly.
who had 2 scorpions as pets.
Ugh.
So, okay, he's there after class meeting with her, and that's when she says she left all of her paper mache and stuff at home. Would you, like to come to my house tomorrow or whatever?
Of course he, like, stammers and falls all over himself, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Of course. That the next time we see, so she makes her little cricket sandwich and everything and looks very, like, satisfied with it. It's real weird. Then the next day, that's after they've had their conversation with Giles and Willow and everything, they've determined that she's the problem and that she's been capturing and, like, eating or mating with or whatever people. And so she runs into Xander and basically tells him, like, hey, have you talked to, or did you go and see Miss French or whatever? And he's like, yeah. And that's when she starts telling him, like, hey, you shouldn't go and see her. She's not good. Like, she whatever.
She doesn't think she's human.
And that's when he gets all bent out of shape about, like, the split second some woman takes or shows any sort of attraction to me, you get all blue and angry and start trash talking. Like, oh my God, dude, be less obvious. Like, he's so dumb. But...
Remember in the first episode when you said Xander was probably going to be your favorite character?
Oh, no, I like Xander. I like Xander, but he has moments where it's just like, God, dude.
Yeah.
You are just the stereotypical dumb high school dude who's not, like, a dumb jock or like, you know, like he doesn't really fit into any single specific, or other than what did I say, like stoner
you said, like,
surfer or
yeah,
something like
stoner
that.
surfer, stoner skater guys or something like that.
Yeah. But no, I definitely like Xander because he's dumb and goofy and a lot like me, if I'm being honest. In that moment, that's just one of those like, dude, she's literally trying to help you, like, not die. Also, you really think you're gonna sleep with this teacher who showed up once and knew you for half a day?
I mean, he may not have thought they were gonna sleep together.
Come on. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
He gets all butthurt and angry because she clearly is trying to cockblock him or something. I don't even know. Oh, yeah. So I guess later that night, that's when he goes and meets up with her at her house.
Yeah, and she's wearing a very short and boobalicious dress.
Boobalicious.
Yeah.
Boobalicious.
I'm not slut-shaming. I'm just saying, like, what she's wearing.
And it was boobalicious.
I mean,
like, she was showing off the ladies.
She's coming on strong.
Yeah. And then immediately hands him a little baby martini when he walks in the door.
Which he gulps down, like,
yeah.
finishes.
I like when he goes, huh, so that's a martini. So, I don't know if they ever actually address this or not, but did she, like, spike it with something other than alcohol, obviously?
That's the assumption, because he, like, passes out.
Well, yeah.
Like, we don't see her...
Right, it doesn't ever show it,
Yeah.
which seemed like an odd omission to me, because the martini, if it were in this glass, it would have been this big. That's like a shot and a half of vodka.
Yeah,
Maybe two.
I mean...
Or gin. I don't know how you like your martinis. Some people like them with gin, some people like them with vodka.
Either or.
They're both delicious.
I mean, maybe they felt like the fact that he just, like, got real loopy and then passed out was enough for us to deduce that he had been drugged.
And that's kind of what I thought.
So maybe they felt like it wasn't necessary to include that.
Yeah,
that scene.
Like when I saw it, I felt like maybe I just missed it or something. But I don't think it was actually there. We're just supposed to assume.
Yeah.
But yeah. But then he has this weird, like, she reaches her hand out or something. I can't remember what she says.
Oh, she just started talking about his hands and how they're, like, strong or something. Or warm or something like that.
And then she reaches her hand out.
And he's like, your hand is serrated.
Well, before that, he has a... he goes back and remembers his dream.
Yes.
And I don't remember exactly. I guess, like, Buffy, like, touches her hand to him or something like that. And he goes, huh, Buffy. I love Buffy. And then, like, looks down at her hand and, like, what? What is... You are a mess, dude. But, yeah, and then her hand, like, changes into, like, all gross mantis hand and all that.
Mantis hand.
Okay. Hearing the word mantis so many times in a single episode, I don't know if any of y'all watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All I can think of this whole fucking time is Dr. Mantis Toboggan, Mantis Toboggan, MD. Frank's, like, fake doctor character.
Oh.
And you can trust me, because I'm a doctor.
Oh my gosh.
Anywho. Yeah, and then he passes out and she, like, drags him down to her lair or whatever. I guess that's when they've kind of put everything together and they've started looking for her.
Yeah, and
they're not far behind them.
They go to this one house and it's...
She'd be like
it is Miss
90
French.
years old. And then they open the door and there's this 90-year-old woman.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, that's me. I used to substitute teach or whatever.
For over 30 years. I retired in the 70s.
So then they're like, Willow's getting panicky. She's like, I'm just going to go start banging. Because Buffy's like, I know she lives in this neighborhood. I saw her walk by.
She must be near here. She goes, I'm right here. It's
so yeah.
Dumb. It's so great.
So Willow wants to just start banging on doors, and Buffy's like, no, we don't have time. And then she, like, jumps down in the sewer, finds Fort Guy, because she knows Fort Guy is afraid of him, and basically uses him to figure out what house that she lives in, because he starts freaking out as soon as they get close to it.
She uses him like a dowsing rod for mantises.
Yeah. And so, and I did make a note. She had Fort Guy tied up with both of his hands behind his back. What's one of his hands? A fork with sharp
Oh,
things
yeah,
on it.
that scene where, yeah. Uh-huh.
And that's how he got loose. Like,
yeah, well.
did she, and I wrote, did she really tie four guys' hands behind his back? Because that just seems silly.
Who was this? Miss French?
No, Buffy.
Or Buffy. Oh, well, we're talking about the same group of people who didn't tie the fucking witch-to-be who's gonna be pissed up in the last episode. Like,
that's true.
They don't always make the best decisions.
And it's probably to advance the story, but still.
Well, yeah, it's clearly to provide some extra drama and action. And
so
all
he gets loose
still.
and then attacks Buffy, and then, of course she, beats him with, a little picket fence stake.
Yeah, it's a really quick fight. I think you had mentioned, right after we watched it, it's like, well, he wasn't around for very long, or whatever.
You would think that somebody like him would put up more of a fight or be more of an issue, or but he was over and done with pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
So then we're back.
Well, the time that it takes for her to, get thrown down onto the lawn right next to the fence and go, oh, fence!
I'm sorry. Our cat is being super cute. She has this tunnel, and it has a little hole in the top of it, and she was going in it, and then she just rises, I'm gonna do an impression of her.
Oh my God.
She goes like this. So she's in the tunnel, and then she just goes and stares at me. And then she goes back in.
She does that a lot.
It was just really funny, and I'm sorry. I interrupted us. But
I thought you were laughing at the crinkling noise.
no, I was laughing at her.
No, okay.
She's crazy.
She is that. That's very, very true. Yeah. So stabs homeboy right in the chest, and he's all and gone and done. And whatever. And then they bust into the house and make their way down to the little dungeon area.
But before that, I just you laughed at me because
yeah, probably I do that.
Xander wakes up in a cage or whatever, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and Miss French is like, oh, call me Natalie, and she's a big fat praying mantis at this point. And
well, she's not exactly fat, but she is big.
I mean, you know what I mean. So he backs himself up in the very back of the cage, and then Blaine just pops up out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Made me jump. It's freaking jump scares that I know are coming. I knew that one was coming, and it still made me jump. And he just starts chuckling.
2 episodes in a row, I'm sitting here making a note on my phone, and I just see this. God damn it. You've seen this how many times, and you knew it was coming, admittedly.
Yeah, still, I knew it was coming. But also, Blaine's telling Xander, what she does. So, what he's describing, he's seen her do. So, he's seen her
hey, buddy.
lay eggs, mate with her victim, and bite his head off. Who are these victims? We don't know who these victims are. I want to know who these other guys are that she's killed. But we don't know. Because I guess it's not relevant, but still.
Yeah, they're just unnamed cannon fodder to show you that she's dangerous.
I guess it's just weird because there wasn't any mention of any people missing or anything like that.
This is what fanfiction.net is for. Go and write your fanfiction prequel for her character.
I don't want to.
Well, somebody's probably done it already.
Maybe.
It's been around for long enough. I'm sure somebody's done it. Okay, bud. That's okay. All right. That's your guest appearance.
So then, so now we're at the point where Buffy and Willow and Giles come in and rescue Xander and Blaine. And I love Willow's so cute, and she was like, it's so unfair. She was going after virgins. Here you are doing the smart thing. And Blaine's just like, what? I'm not a virgin. And then Giles is like, oh, that's the thing. That's only what she went after.
Doesn't he threaten to sue them if they tell anybody?
Yeah.
Dude, you are not helping your case. Oh my God.
But they beat her with bat sonar. We kind of skipped that part.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I made a note about Blaine.
They freak her out with bat sonar, and then Buffy chops her up.
when Blaine, like, scares Natasha and starts talking to Xander for the first time, he pops in like, "Hey, dude, oh my god, everything's all terrible and horrible and oh my god." And
that scared me.
That's easy. When the rest of the gang shows up to rescue them, Buffy busts in through the window or whatever, and he just looks over and goes, "Hey, can you help, maybe?" Like, he goes from super panicky to, like, just chill as fuck. Just like, "Hey, just laying back. Maybe a little hand? I don't know. Can you help?" Like, dude is all over the place.
Yeah.
But whatever. Stress does weird things to people. Yeah. Anyway, just thought it was funny. Yeah, so going back, Xander didn't admit to being a virgin, and they all know, and he's still fighting it. Like, come on, dude, just give it up. Also, at least you didn't threaten to sue them for thinking you're a virgin. Blaine's got some issues.
Yeah.
Oh, and then yeah.
Oh wait.
So
Before we go back to there, and then Xander took out his frustrations on the nests and like chopped up all the eggs.
Oh yeah. Well, on the nest or her?
The nests.
Oh, I thought it was her.
No, it was her eggs. It was her egg sacs.
I always thought it was her because Willow says she's definitely dead and dissected.
Well,
I guess he does all of them too. Does all of the eggs as well.
Well, she said that because that's how Buffy killed her. Like, Buffy just like...
Oh, that's right. You're totally right.
How many times do I have to do this?
A lot. Okay, now I get it. Well, now you're just being extra. Yeah. So, okay, so now it cuts to them back hanging out at the Bronze or whatever, and she runs into Angel again.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, I think she says, like, thank you for the tip or whatever about Fork Guy. And she makes a comment about giving his jacket back.
Yeah.
And he says, "No, I don't need it. It looks better on you."
That's what guys in movies do.
She's like half his size. How did that jacket not eat her alive? Like, it would have looked like a leather bed sheet on her. Like, oh my god.
That's what the cool guys do. That's what they say in movies.
Also,
like, oh, here, let me give it. Oh no, it looks better on you.
Does he just roam the night giving out fucking leather jackets to every...
not.
This dude had... What is his whole thing? I'm ready for him to be an actual character already. Because he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna slip back here and have some, like, vague advice. Also, I dispense jackets."
A jacket dispenser?
I mean, so far, out of 3 appearances, he has dispensed jackets 33% of the time.
So just one time.
33% of the time is an accurate statement, damn it.
Okay.
But yes, just once. Yeah. That was more or less it was a pretty straightforward episode.
Yeah. Oh, and then it shows their new science teacher who's like boring. He talks about like their essays. He's like, no more, like this many words, no more, no less. This is how much percentage of your grade it will be. No more, no less. So you get the idea that he's gonna be like a killjoy or whatever.
Oh, but the last shot of the episode.
Yeah. This always bothered me.
Well, I'm assuming that they don't really come back into play because they didn't really lay any other groundwork for them to, other than if they just want to do a sequel to that episode. But there's a little, like, couple egg sacs in the classroom, I guess, but why would they be there?
So
how did she get somebody to fertilize them there?
Well, because that's where she killed the science teacher. So here's my thing. But she went after virgins. So does that mean the science teacher was a virgin?
Maybe that's their, like, weird way of getting a subtle dig at the science teacher? That seems kind of shitty.
No, I don't think maybe it's just something they didn't think through.
Well, I mean, I guess that's possible,
think?
But, like...
What was y'all's impression? And also, they showed, like, an egg hatching.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's right, it cracks in, like... There's, like, something, like, making all, like, weird insecty noises in it. And, like...
And, sorry, this is kind of a spoiler, but we don't see any more praying mantis things in the future. of this series.
It would stand to reason that they would fucking find them really fast and then smash them. Like, they gotta be like that big.
Well, yeah, but...
Was it gonna kill a whole person?
I don't know, but it's stupid that they even, like, put that last bit in there. I don't like it. It bothers me. What do y'all think?
They're probably just still trying to find their
because she bit off the dude's head. So to me, if what Blaine said was true, then that means that she used him to fertilize the eggs and she killed him. And then...
How, though? Like...
Well, however she did it with the other guys.
But that's what I'm saying. How?
I mean, we can...
Because she turns into Mantis mode first.
We can use our imaginations and think about how fertilization happens. And
all I'm saying is, I like insects and entomology and stuff, but that is crossing a line. Anywho. God damn it.
It's a little off the rails there. Not off the rails, but just like getting into some inappropriate territory.
There's
maybe
some implications involved that I'm not comfortable with.
I don't think... I have an idea of how it happened, and it doesn't involve like actual sex.
I was gonna be way more clinical. I was gonna say stimulation.
Well, yeah, stimulation has to happen.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what was making me very uncomfortable. Because she has very serrated hands. Serrated is not a sexy adjective in my book.
Maybe they weren't like sharp serrated. Maybe they just looked serrated.
I don't know if that makes it much better.
I don't know. I'm so sorry. This is where this conversation is going. But this is what happens.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of nonsense a lot. And then sometimes they just don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the episode.
Pretty much, I guess.
Stay away from mantis people, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Yeah, watch out for full-on exorcist twists. If you haven't noticed, I'm going to try and do a quote from each episode on the board. Because it's fun. And, yeah.
On that note,
we're going to go.
bye.
Don't judge us on this episode.